Hi, it's Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and in this video I'll be looking at the PICASOU 2 Android AI box from Ottocast. This is an Android 10 AI box for factory CarPlay and aftermarket systems. It features 4GB of RAM and 64GB of ROM, a fast Qualcomm 665 CPU and an Adreno 610 GPU. There's a dual card tray for expandable SD card storage of up to 128GB. And there's also room for a 4GB SIM card to provide internal internet to the dongle without the need to rely on a mobile hotspot or local Wi-Fi. In the box you get a how to install card, a paper instruction manual, there is the PICASOU 2 AI box itself, a SIM card tray removal tool, a USB-A to USB-C power cable, and there's also a USB-C to C cable for more modern CarPlay ports in the car. And unique to this dongle, there's also a bypass power cable should your CarPlay port not support sufficient power to the adapter, I guess. Looking over the AI box, its rounded puck-like look is definitely different. On top, there is a clear plastic dome which covers a round metal disc underneath with Ottocast branding on top. On the other side, there is a recessed area which features a USB-C input port to power the adapter. There's also a physical reset hole and tiny labels indicating that there's a mini HDMI port that's on the side of the adapter. And alongside the HDMI display output port is a SIM card tray, which once opened has the ability to store both a nano SIM and an SD card in the tray. Once powered up, the adapter's logo and around the edges of the inner metal disc illuminates blue in colour. In my test, I connected the PICASOU 2 to my Pioneer 93 DAB receiver in my demo pod. Boot up time took around 26 seconds before resting on its sleek looking main menu interface. Its home screen interface consists of a side dock and a series of widget panels. The side dock shows the time, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth status, as well as a SIM card status if that's inserted. The last two used apps and shortcuts to launch Google's voice assistant. And below this are back and home navigation buttons. I can also happily report there is no floating button on this interface either. The largest panel on the home screen is pretty much a shortcut to launch a chosen Maps navigation app, or you can choose to run a navigation version of your chosen Maps app within this panel instead. Below this is a media player widget panel, which will control any local or Bluetooth media file playback. And to the right of these panels, there are three additional widget panels. The first at the top is a local weather, date and time widget. Below is a contacts widget to access up to 3 of your favorite contacts. And below this panel, there is an app shortcut panel to access up to 3 of your favorite or most used apps. And this can be also configured to launch any app that's currently installed on the AI box. Swiping the home screen will reveal all the pre-installed apps on the adapter. Here you'll find the usual suite of Google apps, Netflix, YouTube, Spotify and Waze, amongst other system and media apps. One in particular is an LED settings app that you can use to customize the adapter's LED lights to any color that you choose. Any additional apps can be downloaded via the Google Play Store, and there's an APK installer for sideloading any unofficial or unsupported apps onto the adapter. Overall, I found its main menu system to be fairly intuitive and responsive, and it does a good job of keeping downloaded apps consistent with the stock UI elements. Unfortunately, the adapter requires an internet connection to make full use of its home screen widgets though. Once I had the adapter online, I downloaded the device info app to find out that the adapter is running the Qualcomm 665 chipset at 2 GHz and the GPU runs at 320 MHz. In short, this adapter has the same specs as one of my favorite AI box adapters from MIC, so I fired up the Geekbench app to see if it performed just the same. After running its single core, multi-core and GPU benchmark tests, it came out just a little ahead as the fastest AI box that I've tested. But there is very little difference between them, so I would say it's pretty much the same identical hardware that's inside as the MIC adapter that I reviewed previously on this channel, which is a good thing for viewers in the US or Canada, as the MIC is pretty hard to get outside of Europe. Like the MIC, the PICASOU 2 also supports HDMI output to a second display, whether it be an HDMI monitor in the car, a TV or a projector. I tested this out on a portable HDMI monitor as well as my Samsung ultra-wide monitor, and my Samsung 64-inch TV. And with audio passing successfully through to the connected display. So as long as you've got the adapter powered via USB, it will boot up and display on its own to the HDMI display. So this adapter is also good for taking into hotels, for example, or in the office to be able to run Android apps onto your TV or monitor. Sadly, its output doesn't adjust to the ratio of the display it's connected to, so content can look quite stretched or distorted on a widescreen monitor. Unfortunately, like the MIC though, this box doesn't support dual Bluetooth either, so it wouldn't really connect to my Bluetooth Xbox controller, but it did pair with my wireless Bluetooth remote, so overall this may limit its use for gaming, apart from touchscreen, one button or D-pad games that could be done from this remote. Using this remote, you can control the AI box from a distance for things like browsing and watching Netflix or YouTube without a touchscreen monitor nearby. Thanks to its fast processor, the Picasso 2 is capable of playing some decent Android games on your CarPlay display. My test apps like Crossy Road, Subway Surfer and Real Racing 3 had no problems running on this AI box. However, without controller support, the variety of games that you can download from the Google Play Store will be a little bit limited. You have just under 50 gigabytes of storage for game and app downloads, or you can use this space to store local movie or music files. And if you ever run out of space on the actual adapter itself, you can still continue to expand on this by inserting an SD card up to 128 gig. If you prefer to stream your video content, you'll need to get this adapter online. Without it, the adapter is pretty much useless for running widgets and internet-based Android apps. You can choose to connect to a local Wi-Fi hotspot if your car has one, or a mobile data hotspot from your mobile phone. But using either of these methods will stop you from using wireless CarPlay or Android Auto on the AI box. To get around this, you'll need to insert a SIM card with a mobile data plan onto this adapter instead. That way the SIM is used for the Android apps on the adapter, whilst the Wi-Fi can be used to operate wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. Once online, you can download any apps you desire from the Google Play Store and run video streaming apps like Netflix and YouTube. Audio playback on either of these apps were in sync, and navigation in each of these apps menus is smooth when compared to more lower spec AI boxes. Being able to play YouTube and Netflix or play Android games on the CarPlay display can have its advantages while you're waiting for things like your EV to charge, or if you're waiting in your car for long periods of time. Wireless CarPlay and Android Auto on this adapter uses the basic multiplay Android app. This app has pretty limited settings, and if you want to swap the dock location, you can set this in the adapter's own settings menu. The Picasso 2 has the same great Wi-Fi specs as the MIC adapter, so I expect the same great wireless performance here too. Wireless Apple CarPlay took 11 seconds and Android Auto took longer at 23 seconds to pair and to connect to the AI box, which pretty much matches the same as the MIC dongle. From here, both car platforms behave responsively to touch input, with the usual common Wi-Fi traits of a slight 1 to 2 second delay in music, calling and navigation audio. And on Android Auto specifically, it continues to use the full screen mode on this AI box. This Picasso 2 CarPlay AI box from Ottocast currently retails for $349.99 directly, or you can get it for $300 with coupon from Amazon US. If compatibility is a concern, I recommend that you buy it from Amazon so you have easy returns. And you can check out my links down below to learn more about this AI box and to buy one. I recently read some Android reviews that state there are some issues with higher, larger resolution screens, but unfortunately I don't really have one to test that, so I can't really report if this is a more widespread issue. But all I can say is that I tried this adapter on my 1024 by 600 display on my CarPlay screen and my Pioneer 1280 by 720 display, and I didn't encounter any display cutoff issues on this adapter. If you want to be cautious though, just buy it from Amazon. That way you get easy return if it doesn't work out for you. Other than its lack of Bluetooth controller support and a few choice decisions in its main menu interface, my overall impression of the Picasso 2 was very good. So if you're looking for a top of the range AI box for your CarPlay display, then this Picasso 2 sets the benchmark as an AI box to beat. With its solid performing chipset a more modern menu interface, and a sleek external looks, this CarPlay AI box feels like they've made much more of an effort with this adapter than most others do. If you'd like to watch another great AI box review of mine, you can check out this video here, and I'll see you there. Give us a thumbs up if you've made it to the end of this video, and comments are always welcome if you have any questions about this Picasso 2 from Ottocast. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.